Hi, I'm Shoeskin Jane. Welcome back to my channel where I talk about all things thrifty, frugal and money saving. Today's mug is this lovely poppy mug. I seem to attract free or really cheap mugs like Richard Branson attracts money. So it's a shame I can't actually follow his lead and attract a few more pounds. But this one was just left by the side of the road and it's so pretty. I just couldn't leave it there. It was really nice. It's also huge. So when you want a really big cup of tea or a really big cup of coffee, this is a good mug. So I decided to keep it, which means I've now got to get another one out of my cupboard to put in the charity box because I haven't got room for any more mugs. What's wrong with me and mugs? Anyway, I usually talk about all things thrifty, frugal and money saving, as you know, on my channel. I'm trying to get back to it. My head has been all over the place. I have not been remotely organised about anything, not about food. I've been just eating anything, buying anything, spending any amount, not budgeting, being really untidy, being disorganised. But, you know, I have a good excuse because I just lost my dad. You all know that if you saw my last video. Now I've kind of got this desire to take back control and get organised. I always feel better when I'm a bit organised. I don't like chaos. I am like my dad like that. He didn't like chaos either, which was funny really considering he had 4 really messy children and quite a messy wife as well. He was the one person who liked a bit of order, and I find, as with many other things, I'm turning into my dad as I get older. So I just feel like I need to get sorted. I haven't been doing anything with all the courgettes we've been growing apart from eating the odd few. So the other day I thought, well, I don't want them to go to waste, so I just chopped them all up and chucked them in the freezer. I've got a few of the big round courgettes. My sister-in-law Elizabeth gave us some plants and I've got some of those to use. And if I was feeling creative, I'd probably do something like stuff them and they'd be really nice, but I'm not especially. I thought what I'd do is make some soup for the freezer. So I'm going to do that today, and I've pulled out a load of bananas because I've bought bananas over the last few months and it's been so hot. I only ever buy 1 or 2 at a time and I usually use them, but it's been so hot they've been going black before I got the opportunity to use them. So I've just been shoving them in the freezer, and I know I should chop them up, put them in a bag, but I don't. I just shove them in whole and then I defrost them and I'll use them. I'm going to make either some banana bread or some banana chocolate muffins. I haven't decided yet. They're just defrosting on the side. The house is fairly untidy. I'm not going to do any cleaning today, partly because I'm really tired. I keep waking up at 3 a.m. and really struggling to get back to sleep. I did that this morning. I gave up in the end about 5 a.m. I just got up and had a cup of tea because I thought I may as well do something. So I wrote a blog post instead whilst I was in bed with a cup of tea. But I know it's going to really hit me later and I'm going to be really, really tired. So I thought what I'd do instead is organise the stuff I have bought over the last few weeks, which you will have seen some of it anyway in my last video, to list online. So I'm going to try and do some of that today, or at least do the photographs because it's a nice bright day. I try not to set myself up for defeat and I can't do too much, and today I am knackered, so I'm not going to do that much. The garden is really, somehow things are growing despite the fact that it's been fairly neglected. I did manage mostly to keep on top of the watering, so that's obviously stopped. Oh, sorry, kicked the tripod. That stopped things from just dying. But you know, the tomatoes are really a big mess. I need to sort those out. I'm not going to try and do that today. Courgettes are still growing, runner beans are growing well, and I've got aubergines. I've never successfully grown aubergines before, but I have them. I'll show you those in a minute. Tomatoes, I've got lots of green tomatoes, but they're taking their time to ripen. I think a lot of them are kind of sitting in the grass because I didn't support them well enough. I grew them in grow bags, and I have to say I wouldn't ever grow tomatoes in grow bags again. The roots are too shallow and they dried out too quickly. I just about kept on top of them, as I say, but they've kind of fallen over. They're difficult to dig a stick in to support them, you know. So they're kind of sitting on the grass, so they probably won't ripen there. I think I'll have to pick some of them green, put them on the windowsill. That usually works, doesn't it? And ripen them off over time that way. So I'll show you the garden in a minute, but that's my plan for today anyway. So they're the bananas, the rock hard. As you can see, they won't take long, especially as it's such a warm day. I've got these 3 big round courgettes. that, say, you could do some nice sort of stuffed courgette thing, but I'm not going to. I've got carrots that I bought reduced, but they've last ages anyway, but they really need using, so they're going to go in the soup. Got a load of onions. I shouldn't really eat onions, but their soup is not nice without onions. And this is what I tend to do with broccoli stalks. If there's too much stalk, I tend to stick them in the freezer. So I've got 2 of those there and some mashed potatoes. So they're also going to go in the soup just to use those up. So anyway, let's show you the garden. All of my houseplants, well, most of them are out here at the moment because they've got a bit of a bug, and I'm seeing if they can, maybe at the being outside, the bugs will get eaten. If not, I'm going to have to start again, I think. So they need sorting out. Some tomatoes here. Parsley's got a bit dried out. The chives are doing nothing. This one has been allowed to dry out on occasion as well, which is not good, is it? See what I mean about the tomatoes. They're in grow bags, so they're not going to ripen very easily under all that lot. Need cutting back. These ones have started, and they're lovely black opals. Ah, they're actually ready. Let's get those. These are really delicious, so sweet. A few of those ripening, that's good. The kale has been attacked. It's been attacked. We got some of it, but it's just been attacked now and eaten. You can see the little blighters, look. Caterpillars all over it. We've finished the broad beans. Chard has gone to seed because it was allowed to. And I've got a load of beetroot in here that I need to pick. These tomatoes are also not ripened yet. There's lots of them though. Look at that lot. Lots of them. Have a look in the little mini greenhouse. We have some little peppers here. Just little ones. I'm sorry, I'm not focusing very well, am I? And some more peppers here. Let's link it to that one. And here, this is the best aubergine plant. I don't know if you can see. Loads of little mini aubergines on here. There's about 5 of them on there, I think. And someone's been munching one of them here. Look, I don't know who that is. Has been doing that. There's not many on there. Still some flowers. Oh, that's another one, but that's really doing nothing. Had quite a lot of cucumbers. This one again has been being munched. Somebody's munching these. I've had a lot of cucumbers, but I think that's pretty much coming to the end. Oh no, there's one down here that I didn't notice. Oh dear, it's fallen off. It might be edible. It's a peacock we got for free. Beans. Taking advantage of a nice day. All the sheets are on the line. And so the courgettes are looking a little bit sad. I think this is from lack of or inconsistent watering. It's gone a bit kind of mildewed, that one. This is looking good though. This one's looking very good. Lots of flowers on here. At the bottom, a big squash. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, there you go. Actually, I'm thinking this is a pumpkin. I think this one is a pumpkin. One can come out. Of yellow ones here coming through, a bit small. I picked all these yesterday, so there's not much there. And we have some runner beans still. Really well with the runner beans this year. Loads coming through still. Here we go. Back down the garden. Hey, little pussycat. How you doing? Oh, you're enjoying the sun, aren't you? You love it, don't you? You're singing. You're singing. The other one in there. Those leftovers. So, got the broccoli stalks, which are still frozen, but I'll cut them up once they've been cooking for a bit. If I was organised, more organised, I would have defrosted these, but it's fine. So I've got a bit of the mashed potato in there, a bit of the mashed potato in there. I've also used up a load of potatoes that were honestly sprouting and looked terrible, so really everything's being used up in this. Somebody called me the queen of soups. I do make soup a lot because I really love it, and it's so easy and it uses everything up, so it's really thrifty. Oh, there's one more thing I need to include. Just a few little tomatoes. Chopped them up for a salad the other day and haven't used them, so let's just chuck them in. Okay, just put some stock on top once that's fried up a little bit. And in the spirit of using stuff up that needs using up, I've got this frozen leaf spinach that's been hanging around. You can see it's quite frozen. I'm actually going to use that up as well. It's been hanging around too long. The bananas are a tiny bit frozen still. You can see why they use these to make like a vegan ice cream substitute, because let's pull that out, because it really does kind of have the consistency and the look of ice cream, and it smells nice. And even though the skins were really brown when I put them in the freezer, the flesh hasn't gone brown at all. So they don't take much mashing when they're frozen either. This is a recipe that I always use from a blog called Castaway Kitchen, which is a sugar-free blog, although I do adapt it slightly because I found that I actually didn't need to add any melted butter. It does call for melted butter, and I just slightly change it. So I need some eggs. These are supposed to be large eggs. I've only got medium eggs, so they will do. Oh, nearly lost one. They will do. Just try not to get any shell in. And Delia Smith, I am not. Still got West Ham nails, as you can see, from my dad's funeral. They're lasting a long time. Gel nails last ages, don't they? I've not had them before. Right, got my 3 eggs in. I'm going to just rinse my hands. They're icky. a good whisk. One thing I've forgotten is the vanilla essence. Let's find that. I have almond. I have lemon. I've just realised I'm out of vanilla. I've got this almond one. I doesn't really need more almonds, I guess, but I'm going to put some almond essence in instead. So it should be 1 teaspoon. At this point I would add 1/4 cup of melted butter, but as I say, I don't find it needs it. It kind of makes it slightly greasy. I guess if I wanted that fat content, I would do it. There we go, just since I've chopped them up, the rest of those bananas have defrosted. So you're supposed to do in a separate bowl, mix all your flour and stuff, but honestly, I always do it together. I don't find it really a big problem. So I've got 1.5 cups of almond flour. So that's half, another half, and another half. And 1/4 cup of coconut flour. And then I want just half a teaspoon of baking powder. ¼ teaspoon of salt. I'll do this in my hand so I don't do too much. We just need a little bit of salt, don't we? 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Do this with a mix, but honestly it doesn't need it. Milk is fine. Just combine all of that and get my wooden spoon. So you've noticed this recipe is gluten-free and almost sugar-free, and it would be sugar-free if I used sugar-free chocolate or very, very dark chocolate, but I'm not going to. So at this point you can fold in either chopped nuts or you can put in your chocolate chips, which I prefer. I've done this before. I've blogged this loads of times because it's a favourite recipe. But I particularly wanted to get rid of some of those bananas, so I thought, let's do it again. Sorry about the washing machine going in the background. Just to say, I'm trying to catch up with myself. Okay, all ready to go into some nice little muffin cases that I've got. There we go, fill them up. I might have slightly overfilled that, but it's supposed to make 12, but usually makes more, slightly more. I want nice big ones. Too much. Right, that needs some more choc chips, that one. about right, isn't it? That's about right. I forgot to say actually that I used slightly more coconut flour this time because, than the recipe says, because I found when I use frozen bananas the mixture gets a bit wet. So I've tried to kind of absorb some of that this time. Let's see how that works out. Right, ready to go in the oven. Oh, here we are. Yep, all done. I just mixed both batches together because one was much thicker than the other, so it seemed to make sense. Excuse me, still got my COVID cough. So it's a really hot day and I've made a massive batch of soup and I've just got back from a dog walk and I'm having a big cup of tea. Does anyone else do that? Have a nice hot cup of tea on a boiling hot day. Let's just check the seasoning. Needs a little bit more salt and pepper. So I'm going to do that. And then I will ladle that into old takeaway containers and yogurt, big Greek yogurt containers, and stash some in the freezer. And we'll be eating our own courgettes in the middle of winter, hopefully. So that made 15 really good portions of soup, like your 2 big ladles in each one. So I'll keep a few out in the fridge for the next few days and the rest going in the freezer. I've also got some of the muffins to go in the freezer as well. Hey Archie, are you all hot? We just got back from our walk and my latest little free find is this rather cute jewellery box. And I've been on the hunt for a jewellery box in the charity shops because honestly I don't have much jewellery. Perfect, isn't it? I don't have much jewellery, but it's in a little box that I think one of the girls made for me. This is a 3-drawer jewellery box from Jonas and James. Yeah, it's perfect, isn't it? But the one I have, I'll show you, is this. I think one of the girls made me this a long time ago, like in the technology class or something. And it's kind of fallen apart. And yeah, I've been hanging on to it. It doesn't look very nice. So yes, I've got a much nicer, a much bigger one now. But as I say, we've just been out and it's rather hot. It was a bit too hot for ball time, wasn't it, Archibald? Yes, a bit cooler now. So I'll just wind up my vlog here, but I'll just show you before I go a few more freebies that I found. Actually, it was for a small donation they requested, so I put £1 in the box. These look right up my street. So we've got Building a Better World in Your Backyard Instead of Being Angry at Bad Guys by Paul Wheaton. And it looks really good, really, really interesting, a positive sort of book. And this one, I'm sure I've had this out of the library before. 21st Century Smallholder by Paul Waddington. That's more kind of UK based, the other one's very American. And then just a copy of Permaculture Works. So the people that I picked these up from, they run a kind of bike delivery service, bicycles, so they're obviously quite green people. And they are sharing these and moving them on. So I think this is going to be very interesting. I'll let you know how I get on with those. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, do give me the thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe so you know next time I'm publishing something. And leave a comment below to let me know what you've been up to this week. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.